Good night. Tonight our story is called Do You Want to Be Healed? There were days when the poor and needy would seek Jesus, and then there were others when he would seek them. One Sabbath, while on a visit to Jerusalem, Jesus sought to help a man who had been poor and crippled for many years. You see, there was a pool at Bethesda that was believed to have special healing powers. Actually, the people who gathered there believed that at a certain time every day, an angel of the Lord would come down to the pool and trouble the water, and anyone who got into the water at that point would be healed from any illness that plagued them. Tonight we're going to call our crippled friend Jonas. Jonas was brought to the pool 38 years earlier. For 38 years, he lay on a makeshift bed, waiting for his time to get into the pool to be healed. I can imagine the first day he was brought there by his family. They were all full of faith, and they believed that they would get Jonas into the pool at the right time. Then there was a mighty uproar as those closest to the pool realized that it was being troubled, so they all fought to get in. And by the time Jonas's family could pick up his bed with him, the people ahead of them would have already gotten in. And then the water would become still again. As the days passed by, the same thing happened over and over, and Jonas's family became weary. One by one, they gave up hope and left. Before long, Jonas was alone, crippled, lying on a bed, helpless, yet hopeful, but alone. Weeks turned into months, and Jonas begged for help. Every now and then, one of his former friends would remember him, and they would stop by to see if they could help him. But when their efforts proved futile as well, they too gave up and left Jonas alone. Thankfully, though, Jonas did not give up. The little flame of hope continued to flicker in his heart. And even on days when he felt like he would never be healed, he found just enough faith to keep holding on. As Jonas lay on his bed, reminiscing about the days when he could walk and run and skip and jump, a voice, a very kind voice, brought him back to reality. Someone was talking to him. Do you want to be healed? Jesus looked down at Jonas with such compassion and love in his eyes. What a question to ask someone who was lying by the pool of Bethesda for 38 years. Even though most, if not all, of his attempts to be closer to the pool had proven futile, he still had not lost hope. So of course he wanted to be healed. Jonas complained to Jesus about his plight, but somehow Jesus knew deep inside there was enough faith to heal Jonas, even though it was buried beneath years of disappointment, shame, anger, and pain. And then Jesus spoke to that faith and said the unimaginable. Rise, take up your bed, and walk. Now imagine with me as that little flicker of faith began to soar. And it grew so big that Jonas jumped up before he could even think of what he was doing. His feet wobbled due to lack of use, but he steadied himself, slowly bent down and picked up his bed and walked. But it was the Sabbath. No sooner had he walked away from Jesus than a group of people standing near the arches of the temple stopped him. Jonas had walked right into trouble. "Why are you carrying your bed around on the Sabbath?" they asked. Jonas was so overcome with joy and gratitude that all he could think of was to run to the temple to praise God, forgetting the strict rules that the scribes and Pharisees had in place. "The man who healed me said, 'Take up your bed and walk,'" Jonas explained. "Who said that to you?" they asked in disgust. I don't know." Jonas now realized that he had not even stopped to tell the stranger thanks. He had not even stopped to see who the stranger was. He walked off to carry out his mission of going into the temple to praise God. And as he was praising God, Jesus came over and said, "Go and sin no more." Of course, it was the same voice. "That's the man," Jonas exclaimed to the accusers who had by now caught up with him in the temple. They had already figured it must have been Jesus. Who else would heal someone on the Sabbath and then encourage them to break their rules? You see, These folks had misunderstood God's reason for blessing humanity with the Sabbath. The Sabbath was meant to be a day of rest, yes, but it was also a day to be happy, to be healed, to help others, to share, and most importantly, to worship our Creator God. And Jesus made that point clearly that day when he healed the man by the pool of Bethesda. Is there something that you have been praying for? You may have been experiencing pain. You may have been diagnosed with a chronic illness. And amidst the pain and the fears and even the shame, you have an ounce of faith because you still believe that God can heal you. Jesus is asking tonight, do you want to be healed? Not because he doesn't know the answer, but because he wants you to cry out in faith and accept his healing power. Will you cry out tonight? Will you accept the healing power of Jesus?